Hi, this is Pankhurie and you're watching me on Movie Talkies, and today we have with us the very suave Akshay Oberoi, who's gearing up for the release of his next Laal Rang. Welcome to our show, Akshay. Your film is releasing Laal Rang after almost 2 years of pizza.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Yeah, well, it feels good. When you come as an actor like me, you're only kind of getting work based on other work that you've done. So that's what got me work. So people had to see Pizza first because इतनी बड़ी film नहीं थी, उतनी hype नहीं थी film की. So it was very important that people watched it and said, okay, is this actor capable or not? And then all the work kind of started. So whatever I've done previously, the cameos in Piku and Fitur, and then this is the first to release of all the work I've done.
So, how did you bag this role?
I bagged this role. I knew Afzal earlier. We had met for a project before Pizza and before he had done Youngistan. And at that point, nobody was ready to make a film with us. But we had mutual respect for each other. So हमने कोशिश की, but हुआ नहीं. And after that, I think I had signed a film called Gurgaon. And Gurgaon is also based in Haryana. And Afzal had heard about the project and he knew the director. And so then he thought his film is also based in that space. So let me just go talk to Akshay and see. And he came, we met, he narrated the script. And I loved it because it's such a unique concept and I like films like these. And then kind of gave me the part. So at that point, I didn't even know Randeep was in the film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was a really
You were
nice
the first
surprise.
person signed?
I don't know if I was the first person signed, but that information wasn't shared with me.
Okay.
I'm sure Randeep was there, but I wasn't told.
Alright, so tell me more about the character that you are playing in Laal Rang.
It's an amazing character to play. I think very often you kind of are looking at a character at a certain time in their life. In here, it's kind of a journey that this boy goes through. It's kind of his journey from boyhood to manhood as a result of Randeep's character. So basically, I'm narrating the film to you, and 2002 is when we based the film, and that journey leading up to 2007 of what I became, how I became, thanks to him, and all the things that go along with it: friendship, love, breakup, betrayal, that kind of thing.
Do you relate to your character in any way?
No, we are very different. I had to work very hard on this character because I'm born and brought up in Bombay. I've traveled the world. I've lived in the US. And this boy probably never left Karnal. So I had to spend a lot of time in Karnal to kind of work on this character, to have an understanding of just the body language. Because I wear certain clothes, they make me walk a certain way. I behave a certain way because there is a certain education that I've been privileged with. This boy did not. So to capture that was very difficult. So what I did was I started from trying to figure out how would he walk. So I wore his clothes and I went to Karnal. I took some clothes from the costume department. I just walked around Karnal and मुझे तो कोई पहचानता नहीं है. तो especially at that time. And I walked around the streets in those clothes and eventually kind of started feeling the walk by looking at people and things. And that's where all the other body language came from.
Did you do any kind of workshop, or what kind of preparation went into getting into the character of skin of this character?
As I said, the walk was very important. The way he speaks is very important because, sure, we've all as actors done a lot of diction training and voice training and all of that, but that is a Karnali language.
And you didn't know
I
anything
don't know anything about
it.
that, right? So it's got a bit of Punjabi, Haryanvi, Multani mix. And it's in Karnal because it's kind of a melting pot of all this Punjab, Haryana. They speak a lot more Hindi than they do, like say where Randeep's character comes from, Rohtak. That's much more Jatu. This is more Hindi, but uska lehja alag hai. It's got that Punjabi Multani lehja. So the dialogue writer of our film, who the film is kind of loosely based on, I've actually copied his way of talking. So I used to sit with him all the time. I actually had hours and hours of him talking on my phone. And सोते समय मैं सुनता था उसको, उठते समय सुनता था उसको. So I had to capture that way of speaking.
So this film does have an autobiographical note to it.
It does. It's obviously been fictionalized in the sense that we've added this kind of...
made it more commercial.
We made it a bit more commercial so people can digest the information. Because we're talking about something kind of hideous, right? खून की बात चल रही है. So the director didn't want to focus on that. He wanted to focus on relationships, which I think is the correct way to do it.
So what kind of feedback did you get from the dialogue writer, since the film is based on him and you are playing his character? The character is loosely based on
loosely
him.
based on him. Loosely based on him. He's been very kind to me, but I'm part of the film, so uska bias hai. but we spoke a lot about it. He was on set every day, and I'd use him almost every day on set as well to make sure I was sounding correct. So at the end of the film, he said a lot of complimentary things. Okay. But again, ये हमारी film है, सारी team को सब हमारी अपना बच्चा सबको अच्छा लगता है. So that doesn't go anywhere. It's more the audience and critics and people like you guys to decide about the film or my work in it.
Randeep is a terrific actor. How was it working with him?
Well, Randeep is actually somebody that I, in my years of struggling and before that also, used to watch him thinking ki, chalo, okay, you know, if he's got a career and he's slowly making a career out of good work, then I need not be so caught up in, yaar, meri pehli picture chal jaye to dhamal hai, because that's the concept we have in Bollywood, right? Ki uski pehli ek aad film mein chal gayi to wo star ban jata hai, tabhi usko kaam milta hai. But in the rest of the world, it's not like that. People slowly make a mark as an actor. And Randeep is one of the few, and with that Irfan Saab and Nawazuddin Siddiqui, these are also good examples, who just committed to the craft of what they were doing, and people picked up on that over years. So I was watching him slowly grow, and I was very attracted to the way he was kind of dealing with his career, and was inspired by it. And it's a miracle that I got to work with him. Yeah, now I've been studying him, and now I got to study him very closely, one-on-one. So it was great.
So you have a lot of scenes with him in the film. So what all did you learn from him while working with him on the sets?
So he's not such a kind of person who tries to teach you and things like that. He doesn't have that kind of thought process. But for me, it was more validation, because whatever I had been doing, like I work in a very simple way. I don't have an entourage. I don't have a makeup artist. I don't have, you know, people running around me. I like to be alone. I get very irritated when there's too many people around me, especially when I'm acting. I find it hard to focus. Now, Randeep has all these privileges, but he's not bogged down by this stardom. Like, I'll give you an example. A lot of, you know, big films and big actors, I'm not saying anybody in particular, I'm just saying some things that I've noticed. Say if you drive a bike somewhere for a shot. Now, there will be one person that comes and picks up that bike and brings it back to the mark for your second shot, for the second take of the same shot. Randeep will bring it back on his own. Okay, so it's an actor who's worked that many years, still so committed to saying, I don't need somebody, I'll do it.
So he has no airs about him.
There's no airs about him. And seeing that, I used to feel, am I doing something wrong when I do this? You know, and it's just validation that I was going about my work the right way.
So Laal Rang is a multi-starrer. There are 3 actors, you, Randeep, and Rajneesh Duggal. So was there any insecurity regarding the screen space that you would be getting?
Not at all, yeah. Rajneesh is actually, I mean, just for the sake of the film, so we're not marketing it incorrectly. He's not, I mean, he's a very influential part of this film, but there's not that much screen time as such. His role changes things, changes the dynamic of the movie, but just so that we're not, you know, mixing, I think sending out the wrong message about a film, because his fans will come in and get disappointed if they're expecting him to be throughout the movie. So the film is mostly centered on me and Randeep and our love stories. And I think insecurity is the worst thing that can happen to an actor, because that's all that the industry and your work is trying to make you feel, is insecure. And the second you start buying into that insecurity, you'll be finished. So I've heard this question a lot, that like, oh, you know, you're a new, roughly new actor, and Randeep is a very senior manjawa khiladi. Aapko dar laga, sir? And I didn't even think about it till these questions are being asked, you know, because I don't choose to go about my life that way, to live in fear. I think if you've made a decision to be an actor, you've already jumped off a cliff. So now let's free fall, right? So I'm not afraid of things like that.
What are your expectations from this film?
It's another thing that I've learned in my short time in this industry, that, you know, it took me a long time to get to even saying this, is I think another killer for an actor is expectations. You can have desires, you can have hopes, but expectations, I think they destroy you. Of course, my hope is that the audience like it. They like my work particularly, and Randeep's work particularly, because that's where the film is kind of shouldered on. I'm not expecting anything, at all. Like, if they love it, I'll be excited. If they don't, I'll also be excited, because I'm proud of it. So, meri jeet ho chuki hai. I'm proud of doing this film. I'm proud that I got a chance to work with Afzal. Proud that I got to work with Hooda, one of my favorite actors. So, I've won. So, for me, the satisfaction is already there. Which is why there's a Thursday before the release, and I'm so like, I feel pretty relaxed about it. Which I was not when Pizza was releasing.
Otherwise, it's very daunting for an actor, you know,
sure.
just a day before the release.
Yeah, but I can honestly tell you I'm feeling very satisfied. I'm
so
ready
no
to
butterflies in the stomach?
Nope.
Nothing.
Not at all.
You're pretty sure about and pretty confident about your craft.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I feel good about my work in the film, and maybe tonight the butterflies will start, but in this moment right now, I'm feeling very good and satisfied.
Okay. So this film is very dark. It talks about some very serious issues. Do you think that this kind of cinema appeals to the youth?
I think a good story appeals to the youth. I think that we try and assume what works all the time, like, oh, this kind of thing is what the youth like, so this is what the youth does not know what they like till you give it to them.
Correct.
You know, that's something Steve Jobs said. I can't take credit for it. Somebody asked, what's the use of an iPhone? And he said, there's no use. But once you give it to somebody, they'll realize, oh, I can't live without this. You know, so I think we need to stop kind of looking at films that way, that this genre works, that doesn't work. You know, when I first started, I used to hear this statement a lot, कि female protagonist वाली फिल्में नहीं चलती हैं. And in the last 5 years, which are the only films that have actually given you a return on your money, female protagonist films. So to write off something to say this doesn't work, will they like, it's how you tell the story. So there will be people who will say, नहीं यार खून मुझे देखना नहीं है. So that does cut out a certain sector of the audience. But for the budget that we have, for the kind of film we've made, if we've made it well, doesn't matter if it's about blood or sperm donation, you know, it has to be made correctly.
Pia Bajpai is a completely new actress. She's marking her debut with the film. How was it working with her since she's playing your love interest in the movie?
She is wonderfully spontaneous. It's something that I think it's a spark of a good actor, you know, that spontaneity, that freedom to not be caught up in, I'm going to do this, then my hand will go here, then I'll do this. You know, I think sometimes you get trapped in that. But she's very free, very open, and it's fun because acting is tennis. You know, if the opponent's good, you're better. You know, and if the opponent's weak, then you're also kind of not so good. And that goes for Randeep Bhai as well. You know, working with him, if you've liked my work in the film, it's because he's outstanding, and same with Pia.
So what kind of actor are you? Are you a director's actor? Are you spontaneous? Are you a method actor? What kind of actor are you?
See, it's a great question because I think different things work for everybody. But I'm an amalgamation of all these things. Okay. So I do a certain method which is my own. You know, I think that's what the method is, which people get confused, that there is one method. It's a list of 10 things that actors do. No. A method is something over time you develop for yourself, that this works for me. Just like how you probably eat your food. You know, these foods are things that work for me. They make me feel healthy and good. And they're working. Same thing with acting, you know, it's you pick certain things that work and certain things that don't work, and that is what a method is, very specific to you. Because what makes me cry will not make you cry, what makes you laugh will not possibly make me laugh. So we're all different people. So it's a mix of what you're saying. So I do take, of course, what the director wants. That's first and foremost, you know, it's his film, it's his vision. I do a certain method pre the film, not when I'm on the film. I don't walk around set in character and things like that. Doesn't work for me. It works for Daniel Day-Lewis, it works for some other people. It would drain me, I couldn't do it. So it's a mix of a lot of different things.
So you don't get into that brooding zone once you are doing a character?
It depends. So I mean, I remember for Pizza, that haunted house section, I was like that for a couple of days because that required that. So if it requires it, I will do it. But I like to keep things light.
So there's no hard and fast rule.
It depends on the character, depends on the film, how are we approaching it, what is it. Otherwise, I like to be light and happy on set because it's my favorite place to be. So it's hard not to be happy. And I like to keep a light atmosphere and it makes me feel good. And again, if there's like Pizza, the haunted house, I didn't talk to anybody for 10 days on set. Okay. So it depends on the role and character.
Okay. Commercial success or critical acclaim, what does the actor in you pine for?
I think that I have kind of sort of built a career on getting, you know, decent reviews and people liking my work. So of course I want a box office success. I think that opens up a lot of doors for you. That gives you a lot more films to choose from. With that said, I'm very satisfied in the zone that I'm in because I have no control over box office. And maybe if that happens, great. If it doesn't happen, as long as I'm acting, I'll be the happiest person. You know, there's no need to worry.
So you haven't got a box office hit yet. So did at any point you felt that, okay, maybe acting is not the career I should have chosen? Have you ever got that?
No, that's ridiculous. Absolutely not. Why? I get films, I do films. I take care of my house, you know, like there is, it's the greatest job. It pays me to do certain things that I want to do, travel, pay my rent. and I'm acting on set. If I wasn't getting work, sure, then I'll be disappointed. But I'm an actor, yeah. I mean, I'll go do a film, I'll go do a play, I'll go do TV. I mean, people have accepted that part at least, that this guy is capable of the job. So now, whether I become Shah Rukh Khan or I stay somewhere else, that would dekha jayega. But why would I ever give up this job? Why? The
But
only reason to
something you
give
love.
the only reason to give up a job is two things, right? You're not satisfied and it's not paying you enough. Both of those things are not my concern anymore. So
And it makes you happy.
yeah,
So-
happier than anything else. Yeah.
Correct. So you've done theatre, you've done films. What excites you more?
Films. It's blasphemous for an actor to say that, I understand, because theatre is a medium. I learned acting in theatre, but I've loved cinema. Like, I grew up watching cinema. I did theatre in order to get into cinema, because I knew that that was a training ground for an actor. But I always wanted to be in films. With that said, there are a lot of pluses to, I will go back to theatre when I feel that I'm stagnating and I'm not able to give the performance I want to give. I will go back to theatre.
How different are the two mediums?
Theatre, you're playing to a large audience. You're playing a character for 2 hours. You're playing it all the way through. No one's going to cut you. No one's going to stop you. It's yours to own. And that's beautiful for an actor, to have that free reign, because now, कोई director मुझे रोकने नहीं वाला है. जो मुझे करना मैं कर सकता हूँ. I can improvise. I can go left. I can go right.
And
There is
there's
no
an
framing.
instant reaction.
And you're getting the feedback like this. So the next night I perform the play, I'll know that didn't work, this worked. Like take Laal Rang, for example. I'm waiting for people to comment in order to say, okay, what can I adjust about my work? I can't fix it for Laal Rang and for Rajesh Dhiman, but I can take something forward in the next, how I approach work in the future. So it's a longer time duration. You have to wait to get your feedback.
Your film is based on blood mafia. Do you donate blood?
I did for this film. I'm very scared of blood. The sight of blood is very, makes me shiver. So, so I actually asked the production to send me to Karnal, as I was saying. I went to blood banks. I held blood. I figured out hemoglobin kya hota hai, lipids kya hote hain, to get that sense. And then before the film started, I said, I'm doing a film on this. I should donate. So I went somewhere in Shivaji Park here in Mumbai and donated some blood.
So how did it feel?
It felt fine. I think I was unnecessarily bothered by it. They put the needle in, they take out the blood. It's really no big deal. Now I think I'm okay with blood.
You've done small roles in films like Fitur and Piku, but did you ever have that apprehension, maybe I'll get typecast, maybe the makers would just approach me for special appearances and I won't go further than this?
Again, I think that these are Bollywood constructs that need to die. They need to die a terrible death because actors need to work. It's like a software engineer graduating from college and saying, यार मैं तो IBM के लिए रुका हूँ. IBM जब नौकरी देगी तब मैं काम करूँगा. It's ridiculous. Go gain a skill set so that when IBM does hire you, you have the chops for it. So that was my thought process. That these are great directors. Sujit Sarkar, Abhishek Kapoor, they know their craft more than anybody. So just the opportunity to be on a set with them, I knew would grow me. And to be really honest with you, those films have led to a lot of work. So the thought process in this industry is changing.
So you just want to enhance your skills anyway.
That's it. That's all I have. I don't have a godfather. I don't have somebody who's creating movies for me. The only way I know I'll get work is to consistently prove that I'm growing and that I'm a good actor and I deserve the job. Which I can't say for everybody. Not everybody who's working in our industry deserves it. And I think that we need more people who are coming from the outside to create more competition so that people work even harder. Why aren't we the best cinema in the world? Why is the Hollywood, why are we laughed at times? Because we're not pushing that boundary. When things start becoming as a result of merit, we will make better films. And we're slowly going in that direction.
You are a trained dancer. So would you want to do a film like ABCD2 or in that genre? We have not really seen you, showing
You haven't,
your dance
yeah. I think my
skills.
first film, which nobody watched, unfortunately, there was some dance, but post that I have not. I've just done kind of performance-oriented, offbeat cinema. ABCD2, I think I would have to be a much more commercial star to be in a vehicle like
But
that.
a film like that maybe,
Yeah.
which is dance-based
Yeah.
film, since you
Yeah.
are a trained dancer.
I do prefer to act over dancing any day. Dancing is something that I trained in and it was more for, honestly, when I first started training in dance, it was more for, I knew as an actor, body language and, is very important and as flexible as your body can be is important. So I had done that, and then I fell in love with dance, and I was much younger at that time. But yeah, sure. If you've got an offer for me, let me know.
I would definitely. You marked your debut in 2010, and it's 2016 now. How has the journey been?
Painful, exciting, high, low, all kinds of things. But see, I come from a decently privileged background. I'm not saying we're extremely wealthy, my family, but I had a decent life.
You didn't have to struggle that
I didn't have to
much.
struggle financially. For a long time. Of course, now, there comes a point where you have to get on your own feet. But in the initial days, I was okay because of that. And the point of why I'm saying what I'm saying is the lull I've had in my career post my first film, which Rajshri is a huge banner, to get launched by them and then not have worked for 3 years or 2.5 years till Pizza. But that pain that I went through, that self, reflection and understanding and deep kind of introspection is what made me an actor. I had the training, but I didn't have the life experience to go along with the training. Two things for an actor go hand in hand: what you've experienced in life and the training you bring to that experience. And those 3 years is what made me an actor. I'm not very fond of my performance in my first film, but I can see post that how my performance has improved because of that pain and rejection that I went through in those 3 years.
What kind of films do you want to do in future?
I'm actually doing the cinema I want to do. Sure, it's not the biggest cinema in the country right now. It's not the kind of films that everybody knows कि ये film आई थी और जैसे दबंग होती हैं, वो तो बड़े star की film है. But I'm saying any of the bigger commercial stuff, of course I'm interested in that. That gives you a lot of exposure and a lot more audience. But I like a certain kind of cinema, which I think these films are. I think Laal Rang is in that space. I think the film I was talking about, Gurgaon, Jar Pictures film, that is in that space. Bomberia, the film I've done with Radhika Apte and Siddharth Kapoor, that's in that space. They're good content cinema. And it gives you a lot of chance to, stretch you as a performer. Which is, I'm here to learn right now. So as much as I can learn, again, that stardom thing, who knows? It comes, it doesn't come, I have no control on it. But when it does come, I'll be ready for it. If I've done work like this. So I have this thing of by 35 I should be this big, and by 40 I should be that big, and by 45 I should be a legend. I don't have hang-ups like that. But I know in these days, in these initial years of my career, I want to learn all I can learn about filmmaking and acting. And these films are giving me an opportunity to do that.
So in the near future, we are not seeing you running around and dancing around the trees with your heroine.
I don't think so, but if some big opportunity comes, then no one's going to turn down a big opportunity like that. But yeah, most likely in the next couple of years you won't see me running around trees.
So tell us more about Bomberia and Gurgaon.
Yeah, so Gurgaon I think will release first. It actually recently at the Goa Festival it won the best film at Work in Progress Lab. It was great. It was great news, and I think the film deserves it. It's produced by Ajay Rai, who produced Killa, Nil Batte Sannata, which is releasing on the same day as Laal Rang, and Gangs of Wasseypur. And it's directed by Shankar Raman, who's a national award-winning DOP. Most recently, he shot Rocky Handsome. So great director, and it's a great film, and I cannot wait for that film to come out. I love that movie. After that is a film called Bomberia, which is a much more light-hearted, sweet film. About one day, and Radhika Apte and I play this kind of, it's a love story, but a backdrop of several things happening. And there's Siddharth Kapoor, there's Ravi Kishan, there's Adil Hussain, top-notch actors. It's made by a UK production house, which is quite unique. So I'm excited about that one too, and I think that's a damn sweet film. Okay.
A director you aspire to work with?
In Bollywood, for sure, Dibakar Banerjee. That is somebody I would love. I'd play a spot boy's role on his film. I think him. I think I would love to work with him.
Akshay, it was great having you on our show, and I wish you all the best for all your future projects.
Thank you.
And great box office results for Laal Rang.
Thank you. Your wishes are very kind, and it's been lovely speaking to you.